What's going on, guys? It's Kai back here with another video, and today we got to talk about what happened last night. Last night, if you were living under a rock and didn't notice, the NBA trade deadline was yesterday, and the Blazers traded Gary Trent and Rodney Hood for Norman Powell. Now, when I seen this and I got the notification, it didn't surprise me that we traded Gary Trent. I kind of knew that a lot of people would, be a little surprised. I feel like Trent is better than Powell. What the F is going on? See, we're going to get into that, right? Yeah, there's a lot of casuals out there. People really exposing themselves as casuals. Portland traded Norman Powell for who? What the F? Yeah, you're a casual. Basically, with the way our cap is set up, with Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum taking up an enormous amount of our overall money, Nurkic is tied up, we traded for Robert Covington, we really did not have the financial flexibility to be able to re-sign a guy like Gary Trent this offseason because, dating back to last year when he really started to break out, we kind of knew that this season was going to be his show out year. We knew that he was going to get a big paycheck at the end of the year. From what I understand, it sounds like the Blazers offered him something preseason to extend him, and he basically said, nah, I'm worth more than that. I would assume we probably paid him or offered him like 8 to 10 million a year over like 4 years. Probably gave him like 4 years, 32 million, and he was like, nah, screw that, I'm worth way more than that. And so when the trade deadline came, we were kind of like, well, we either trade him and try to get something better in return, or we basically let him walk in the offseason because he was going to be a restricted free agent, meaning we could have re-signed him to whatever was offered. But I just don't think it was going to happen realistically. So as much as I love Gary and I love to see him develop, I actually think I was one of the early fans of his dating back to last season. It was actually the first Phoenix game we played against Phoenix, because the second game I actually went and Aaron Baines gave Hassan Whiteside 40 points. I'll never forget that. Hate Hassan Whiteside for the rest of my life for that. But anyway, I think it's important to know that, getting a guy like Norman Powell back is really going to help us right now. I think he's 27 years old. The only problem is us trading Gary away because we didn't want to pay him. Norman Powell is going to be an unrestricted free agent. He has a player option that he's going to decline because it's like a $10 million player option. He's way outperformed that this year. He's probably going to get offered like $20 million from somebody. So that's where I'm kind of worried about this move. I think our front office may see it as a temporary, let's trade one of our future potential stars in Gary Trent for a more known commodity in Norman Powell, who's been tremendous this year, by the way. But I'm going to miss Gary Trent. I loved his game. I loved his defensive tenacity when he was locked in. He's a tremendous shooter. The Raptors got a really, really great young player. No doubt about it. I also want to talk about Rodney Hood getting traded a little bit here. This year, no doubt, Rodney Hood was not good. He was not good this year, but that doesn't really matter to me as much because he's coming off of the worst injury you can possibly get in sports, in a torn Achilles. Most people don't come back from it the same. I think it's safe to say as of right now he does not have that same explosiveness. He does not have that same defensive, lockdown ability he had before it. So that's really unfortunate, but I do want to talk about how much he impacted us when we got him initially. Jason Quick talks about it here a little bit, that big shot in the three-pointer, that big three-pointer he made in the fourth overtime against Denver. That was enormous. Most people will always remember him for that. But I want to talk about something I think most people won't remember, and that's the fact that in that series against Denver, that was the 2019 Western Conference Finals run we made. Before that, we obviously played OKC, and Lillard had that amazing shot. He played great, but Rodney Hood didn't play at all that series, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he played a single minute, or maybe it was like a couple, but he didn't really make an impact at all. So then, here you are in the next series. You didn't play at all in the previous series, but when your name gets called in the Denver series, it's your turn to come out and come ball out, and that's exactly what he did. But one thing I think most people won't remember is And I don't know if Jamal Murray will say this, but I think Rodney Hood helped Jamal Murray grow as a player. And I'm sure some people are like, what? What do you mean? Well, for anybody that watched that series, you would know that Rodney Hood had a lot of matchups against Jamal Murray. And Rodney Hood is 6'8". Jamal Murray, I think, is a safe 6'4", maybe 6'5". And that might be a little generous. But Rodney Hood is really good in the post. So when times got tough in that series, Rodney Hood took Jamal Murray in the post. And it wasn't like Murray wasn't playing good defense, but he just wasn't strong enough. He's a young player. He wasn't ready to take a small forward shooting guard type player in the post like that. And Rodney Hood played awesome that series, and he was overall a reason why we won. And it's sad to see him go. I kind of had seen this coming, though. I knew we were going to trade him because he was really our only salary flexible player, making $10 million and an expiring next year. Toronto will probably let him walk unless he somehow really turns it around this season. But I want to thank Rodney Hood and Gary Trent, man. You guys were tremendous players to watch. It sounds like you guys were tremendous teammates in the locker room, really good people. Everyone said that. So it's sad to see you guys go, but it's a business. Everybody knows that. So let's talk a little bit about who we got in return. We got Norman Powell in return.
First, ready to get to work. Gary Trent here. You know, it's about 12 a.m. Just getting in, getting an opportunity to see everything. I'm excited, ready to get to work. You know, we the North, let's get it. Gary Trent here.
We the North, let's get it. That kind of hurts a little bit. I watched this video a little bit from Ball's Life. Norman Powell has bounce. I mean, this dude can straight up fly. He can dunk. He really likes this one-handed Superman dunk. But I think it's important to know that that's not what he really is, you know, overall as a player. When starting this year in 28 games, Norman Powell has averaged almost 24 points a game on 50, 40, 86, 45, I'm sorry. 52, 45, 86. That is absurd shooting splits to average that many points when starting. Now, Dame has no excuse now, Terry Stotts. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you on that one. But I think Norman Powell is going to really help this team. I think people are sad to see our guys go, and that's completely understandable. But Norman Powell is basically what Gary Trent should be 3 years from now when he's like 25. Norman Powell is 27. He's about to get paid. But for the second half of the season, this is going to be an awesome addition for us. No doubt about it. He's a tremendous shooter. Portland just got a shooter out of 64 NBA players that have tried 200 threes. Norman Powell ranks third in three-point percentage. Wow. So he's took 269 attempts and made 43.9% of them. That is tremendous shooting. Only Joe Ingles and Joe Harris have shot better. That is tremendous shooting. It looks like top of the key in this left side. He is just a flamethrower from this left side. A little cold on the right side, 31%, but even in the corner. And one thing also I want to note, not just the shooting, but he's a really good driver of the basket, about 60% in the paint, but more importantly, he actually shoots free throws every game. One of the biggest flaws Gary Trent had, in my opinion, was that he did not draw any fouls because he wasn't a tremendous driver of the ball just yet. Not necessarily his fault. He's 22 years old. He has plenty of time to grow, and that's exactly what he's going to do in Toronto. But Norm Powell is a guy that has been doing this for a few years now. I think he's been in the league like 6 years, 7 years maybe. But he's a tremendous shooter. He's a tremendous driver. And he's just a straight scorer. And the other thing that is really important that all my Portland Trailblazer fans know how important this is. He actually is a decent defender, right? Now, I'm not going to go into all the defensive rating stuff today in this video, but because, you know, I think a little bit of that is overstated and a bit overrated. I know a lot of stat nerds that think that's kind of dumb to think that everything comes down to statistics. And I think people that say that have never played basketball. Nobody that's ever watched basketball has ever looked at Carmelo Anthony play and said, well, It looks like he's okay, but his VORP and his defensive plus minus and his, his real true, like all these stupid stats, nobody looks at a player and judges them based off that. No NBA talent scout is deciding whether or not they want to pursue scouting a player based on his VORP or his defensive real plus minus or his like, nobody's doing that. You're looking at how the player plays. You're seeing what he can do, because a lot of things are system. Like, I brought up Carmelo Anthony because he has a lot of haters, right? Because he takes bad shots. A lot of that is the system that we allow him to do that. Portland takes the most contested jump shots in the NBA by far. It's not even close. But anyway, let's continue about Norman Powell. Can't wait to see him on the floor. The Raptors got a really good player in Gary Trent. Rodney Hood could hopefully revitalize his career a little bit. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, Norman Powell makes the impact. I think he will. He's a really great player. I think we're going to start him at the 3-2. He's a little short, but he's got 6'11" wingspan. So, see how it goes. But that's going to do it for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.